Welcome to VChess. My name is Naiditsch. I'm a chess grandmaster and we continue playing Rapid. So we have another educational stream. Let's go with our first game. So I will be playing the games and comment the position as much as I can so the game gets understandable for everyone, I guess, who is watching. So let's see, game number 1. Let's start today's session with the move e4. We have the move g6, we play central d4 and knight on c3. d6, bishop here, all is pretty standard, and this move is made with the idea of getting the bishop to h6 next. Knight on c6. Idea probably is to play the move e5, so we can play the move knight on f3, avoiding this move e5, because I think I can take, yeah. We have the move bishop on g4, and maybe let's go with the move d5. Is it working? Because in case of taking, I might take back with a pawn, or I will be thinking about taking on c6, so let's calculate a little bit if this is possible to take on c6. There is probably bishop takes e4 coming next. We're gonna take, the knight is gonna take, queen on b4 and winning the pawn on b7. It looks like a nice position, I think. So take, there is knight takes on e4. Queen goes here, the knight has to take. We're gonna take gf and then we try to take on b7. Also looks pretty, I think, interesting for white, so let's take. I think we could have taken as well g takes f3, but just it looks good to take on c6, so I think to double check the very first lines, it's always worth it. Welcome to everyone in the chat. In case you have some interesting questions, some ideas, please write them down in the chat. Now bishop takes, so we take as we planned. Knight has to take, and now my idea was to play the move queen on b4. So looks quite good. We're trying to get the knight on e4 as well. We get the pawn on b7. Let's see what happens next, because if black finds nothing very smart now, black will be in trouble. So our opponent has to find some very strong continuation, otherwise white is doing much better. Good evening to everyone. I see first high of today's evening is by Santos and HadiBM. Good evening, HadiBM, always with us. Nice to see you. We take on b7 as we planned. Rook is under attack, and there is this move bishop takes a7, which looks devastating for black because we're just gonna win the pawn, and then we take the rook and then we advance with the a pawn, so it might be already almost game over for black, I think. I don't know what is there to play here with the black pieces. I think a rook to b8 seems to be the only solution. The rest is making no sense here. And of course we can take on a7. There is a short castle probably. We're gonna take the rook and then we take our pawn to a6, a7. It looks like a winning position. But I think I have here another interesting play, and it is to play bishop on b5 check. So what is the idea? Obviously we give a check. Now, in case king goes to f8, we would like to put our bishop here on c6. So just imagine the bishop on c6, so powerful. Plus it protects the pawn on b7. So the move bishop takes a7, I don't think it runs away from us because we can do it just next. We have the move knight on d7 idea. In case I take, queen takes, I take the pawn, and then there is a move c5 attacking our queen, and black is gonna win the pawn on b7. So obviously we will not let this happen, and what we do is to take, I think, on a7 immediately is looking like a winning move. Maybe still the move bishop c6 is looking very, very nice. So there is nothing better than to castle short side, and then still we are able to take on a7. But obviously, why not to take the pawn on a7 immediately? Let us make a little calculation. So in case I take, there might be some move like c5, attacking the queen. This might be the idea. Still, I believe it is a winning position, but maybe it is not the best. So, because I think it's not the best, so let's go with the move bishop on c6. It feels so safe, I think. To have the bishop on c6, very, very good. Next move is bishop takes a7, so we still have the bishop here, and we're still gonna win the rook. Idea for black is to get the knight on e5, attack our bishop on c6. Is it dangerous? It is not very dangerous, because we can just keep the bishop by playing queen on b5. It looks very, very good, but maybe we can do it even better by playing first f4, so we don't allow the knight to get to e5. Because I think the pawn on a7 is not going to run away from us, at least I don't think. It is going to run away. In case of knight here to b6, we can always go a4, a5. Looks like a winning position. On the other hand, to take the pawn, well, to take the pawn is usually a good idea when you can capture something to be just winning. I don't know what is best, so okay, let's be greedy. Let's be greedy, let's take the pawn on a7 just because we're super greedy. And now I thought I have the move queen on b5. I think it looks pretty good to play the move queen on b5. I don't see any tactics here for black. So let's go. In case black takes, we're gonna take back, and then we're gonna take the rook. So more or less the same plan. Everything is solid. Welcome to everyone to VChess. I hope you're enjoying my games. I hope it's quite educational, I think, because we have different positions. I'm playing all possible openings with white with black, so it is not getting boring. And what is good about a chess game, that every game is just a bit different. So it's actually so funny because there are millions and millions of chess games, and every game is a bit different. So it shows actually how rich the chess game is. What can black play now against the move bishop takes b8? Very, very difficult to do something. So bishop b8 followed by a4, a5, a6 next. Looks like a win. I see a question here in the chat. Where is Irene? She will be not streaming here on this channel any longer. So let's continue e6. Maybe the idea is to get out the queen to g5, which is not very dangerous. So let's just capture the rook, because at some point we have to take the rook. So let's take it. And then we have this a4, a5, a6 coming next. Maybe the idea of black is to get the queen over a7, a little bit back into the game, but it doesn't look like it's gonna help black very, very much. So we just do what we want. a4, a5, a6, and a7 is the final goal. Let's take a look if we will be able to get the pawn to a6, and we can castle, of course, in case we feel some danger here, but I don't think the current position is very dangerous. I don't see tricks for black. That's why I think we can keep on pushing. Next move is the move a6. So is Gemelin replacing Irene? Yeah, for the moment, yes. Gemelin is the female streamer on our channel. Her bishop takes b2. So our rook is under attack. On the other hand, we can even do the short castle because it is not dangerous. We give the rook, we take the rook back, then we play a6, and the game is over. So, on the other hand, white to give the rook. We can play rook to a2, there are no checks, there is nothing. So, let's go with the move for rook a2, very, very calm move. We would like to take the bishop on b2 in case we can. Next move is short castle, next move is a6. And take a look at these beautiful pawns here. a6, b7, huge pawns. So yeah, it looks like a great position for white. There is a little attack here on the pawn f2, but we can just castle short side. So we're defending the pawn on f2. Next move is a6. So this game, I guess, is over. a6. We're defending the pawns in case the queen moves a7 and white wins. So all we need to do is now to attack something, and that's it. We can attack here many different things, obviously, because yeah, he just resigns. Our opponent just resigned, so we have a good start in the first game, and yeah. Let's see who will be our next opponent. Let's go with the next 10-minute challenge. So we will have a random opponent. Our next game. Here we go. So this time we're black, e4. Let's go with the move e5. So we play the very central opening, knight on c6. Let's see if we have the Spanish or... four knights. We have the 4 knights opening. Okay. So, let's see which move white is going to play here. We have g3, and then bishop c5, followed by the move d6. So, very normal development here. Bishop is doing well on c5, knight a4. Wow, this is a pawn sacrifice, or what is happening in case I'm gonna take the pawn? Very interesting move, knight a4, but the question is, does it work? Because he wants to get my bishop. The question is, in case I take on e4, what happened then? I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't see some tactics. Maybe there is something crazy like the move d4, but I continue taking, and then what? I don't know. Okay, let's take it. Maybe there is something for white here. But I just don't know what it is, because f2 pawn is under attack, so what could be the idea for white? I don't know. Very difficult to say, because this move knight a4 is logical, of course, because the knight wants to get the bishop, so this is obvious. But I mean, we can take the pawn on e4, so this is what we did, and what's next for white? d4, so he is playing the very aggressive approach, d4. Now we have few options here. We can give, for example, a check also, because c3, just go back. Also looks not so clear, but why not to take the pawn on d4? So what happens if I take the pawn? I don't know, so let's take. For the moment we took 2 pawns. And it's not so obvious what is the idea for white now. So for example, castle, we're gonna make also castle. 2 pawns up for black. I don't see any direct compensation here for white. Yes, white can take on c5 and try to be a little worse or much worse, something in between. So castle, castle, normal. And what should be the next move for white? I think white has to take here on b4 on c5, because if white doesn't take the bishop, it's gonna be even worse, I think. There are some continuations like rook e1, but we can just go back, and that's it. So to me it looks like we're just pawn up. Maybe, again, some chances for white to play here, but it looks not like a great position, so with a bit of luck, we will be much better. The next move, I think, is going to be very important, because white has to do something now. Just being 2 pawns down in a slow game, it means no real chances of recovery, so white has to find a way now to push somehow. It doesn't look like it is easy to push in the current position. Knight is so bad on a4, so the only idea is to take, because what else can be the idea for white? I see nothing except taking on c5. So, in case you have some questions, in case you have some chess ideas, please write them down in the chat. In case I see them, I will be happy to answer. So the question in the chat, can I play Scandinavian opening? Yes, I can, but it's a boring opening Scandinavian. This is a problem because we just play with center down for nothing, so it's possible, yeah, I can play Scandinavian, doesn't matter, but I think it's just a boring game. This is a problem. Scandinavian is an opening where black always does the same, so I find it a bit boring. It's playable, but just a bit boring. And take. And then we have a question here. Do you like Philidor with black? I think the same for Philidor. In Philidor, black always does the same, so I find it just boring. Way to play openings where the 10 moves, what you do, are always same. I don't think it's funny, I don't think it's interesting, so I try usually not to play things where it's always same. It's like basically same game all the time, so I find it a little bit boring. Knight on e5, so the idea of white is here to get active. This is making sense, but I think we can take now. Or should we just go back and be much better? So let's think a little bit, because he wants to get the rook here and eventually take our pawn on c5, so we have to find a way to defend the pawn. In case we take and then we play the move queen on d6, there is this bishop on f4, so this is not the best. What else can we do here? Bishop d7, yeah, this looks pretty reasonable, I think, but there's bishop on g5, so it would be good to do something more dynamic than bishop on d7. What should we play here? I think I think we should take the knight on e5 and now play this bishop on g4, because we are winning a tempo. Yes, I understand there might be some trouble here with the pawn on b7, but even in worst case we have the move c6 available, which looks pretty decent. In case rook takes on c5, we still have an extra pawn, plus the rook is taking a poor position on c5, so this is option number one. We have the move knight on d7, looks also pretty decent. And we have another option of playing rook e8, because this might be very, very strong, because we're fighting immediately for the e file, but we have to calculate bishop takes b7. So we have to be precise here. What is the best move for black? I like the move queen on d7, because we would like to play rook e8 next. It looks so powerful to play the move queen d7. In case of rook to e7, we still have the move rook on e8. Yeah, I like this move very, very much, so I'm too much tempted to play queen on d7. I play it. Now we have not only 2 pawns up for the current moment, but also we have the better development, and usually when you have some extra material plus you're doing better in development, it should be just almost over, because you can see we made one developing move with a tempo. Now we develop another piece. Next move is rook on e8. We're going to fight for the e file. So in case we win this fight on the e file, I think it should be very, very close to game over here. Let's see what our opponent is going to play next, but currently I think we have an excellent position. Bishop on g5, he wants to take on f6, but I don't think it's so dangerous, so let's go with the move rook on e8. As we said, we are fighting for the e file. Now to take on b7, we have always a c6 move, and the bishop is going to be almost caught. Of course, after bishop takes b7, we can simply probably do something on the e file. Now we have the move h3. Okay, so let's think a little bit. What is the move h3? In case we take, the idea is to take. We're gonna take, and then there's this bishop takes f6. So the idea is obvious. Now, how can we fight the idea? We have bishop f5. Simple move, looks very good because we are trying to get the pawn on c2, then d3. In case we take first, queen takes, rook e8, the pawn on c5 might be falling, so it still should be a very, very good position, but I don't know. And we have also the move h6 here, because in case white takes, we take back, then we win the fight on the e-file, so it should be winning. h6 also is looking very, very powerful here. So we have to make a move. We have to make a decision. What should it be? Maybe to play bishop f5. I just like it because we're immediately attacking the pawn on c2. So it looks very, very good to try to get the pawn on c2. Still, we are fighting for the e-file. To take on b7, this is possible, but we just can take simply the pawn on c2, followed by the move d3, which looks very, very good. Maybe there's even something better, like knight on e4. So knight e4, does it work? Let's calculate. Knight on e4, so the rook is hanging. In case rook takes, we're gonna take, and then we're gonna play f5, so this is winning. Knight to e4, rook e8, we're gonna take it back. Is there a defense? The bishop is hanging. In case white takes, bishop takes, this should be just game over. So knight to e4 looks very, very strong. Also bishop e4, but then there is, I think, bishop takes f6. We're gonna take on b7. Also this is looking quite good, but bishop e4, bishop takes e4, we have rook e5, bishop h7, we take knight h7, queen e5, f6, and we win the bishop on g5. So I don't know. It looks like we have two options to win the game. One option, it is to play bishop e4. The other option, it is to play knight e4. Also, of course, c6 is looking good. And simply to take on c2 also looks good. It's like everything seems to be winning. We have to make a choice. Pity, we could win here 3 different games. But we have to choose just one. So what could be the easiest way? Maybe it is to move c6 and then to play knight e4. Yeah, I think this is just a straight game over. So is there a defense? I don't see a defense. So let's go with the move c6, maybe. We close the bishop on b7. There is bishop a6, and now I saw that knight to e4 just finishes the game. Is it? I think so. Okay, knight to e4. The rook is hanging, so I think white has to take on e8. We're gonna take back. Bishop is under attack. Pawn is hanging on h3. I think it looks like a winning position. There are some tricks for white. I don't think so, because I don't see what kind of trick white can hope for in the current position. So no tricks means we are winning with the black pieces. Of course, sometimes there might be something we don't see here, but it just feels so good, the current position. It feels like it should be winning, so let's just maybe... g5 is also so good here. Should we play the move g5, or should we just take, and play, for example, knight on g5? Also, this is just winning. So, again, we have to decide. many good options here. So let's go with the move rook to e5. It feels so simple. Rook to e8 cannot be a bad move. Now, we can go. How to win here? Knight takes g3. Is it not completely winning? Or first to play the move g5 and then knight on g3? Is there a difference? I don't think there is even a difference. I don't know. It feels like everything is winning. Let's play maybe first the move g5, just to have an extra tempo, because I think he's gonna give his queen. It might be a little bit of fight, but not so big, of course, but still, maybe most simple. We, just in case, have the move king on g7, in case we need it. f3, wow. Now I can go simply knight to f6, and I think I'm just a piece up, no? Or do I miss something? or knight on d6, maybe more simple. We attack the queen. Next, we're gonna take the bishop, so peace up, that's it. I guess the game is over, so we can maybe expect a resignation because the bishop is hanging. And no, he does not resign. Okay, so we're gonna take it. And let's take the pawn. The position of white is completely hopeless here. Just piece down for nothing. Rook on c1. Okay, so let's just play some very solid moves like bishop on g6, followed by the move d3. Maybe even knight on b5. I don't think it matters any longer because the position is completely winning, so d3. c4, for example, could be the next move. He is trying to push a little bit there, but not a very dangerous push. Knight b5, just to close the bishop, just to have this queen on d4 in case we need it. I don't think we do, but just in case. Why not to have it? Queen on d4, very, very simple, just a piece up, so sometimes easy solution is the best. Next move might be d2. So now let's go with the move. Should we change the queens or should we give him a checkmate? I think let's go for the checkmate. Knight on e2 is the next move. Maybe he's still hoping that I'm gonna blunder something, having little time on the clock. So this might be the hope for white in the current position. Okay, let's give him a little check here. Let's see where the king is gonna go. We should be able to finish the game very, very soon. Let's play rook to e6, attacking the queen. Now we give a check. Still not over, or that's it. Let's see. Not over yet. Not over yet. Let's play some move like h6 because it's funny. Queen has no good squares to go, so just in case, not really needed. But it's funny because the queen has literally no good place to go. And I think knight on g3 is finishing the game. Or knight f4 also finishes the game, so let's go here. Doesn't really matter again because it's piece up position. Queen e3 coming next with a easy checkmate. So I think that's it. We have also rook to e2. We can choose between queen on e3 next and rook on e2 next. Both is looking completely winning, so looks like resignation. We know that our opponent is not a guy who likes to resign, so he's going to play till the very checkmate. No problem for us. No, he gives us a queen and probably he continues playing something. No, he doesn't, so he resigns. Okay, of course, he did not give us the queen. He played it on purpose. He hoped that I'm gonna move the king and then he tries to flag me. But not so easy. Not so easy to flag us, especially in easily winning positions. So yeah. Queen on g1 checkmate. Yeah, I maybe had a queen g1 checkmate. You are correct. So sometimes I'm too focused on something else, on some idea, and sometimes I'm missing the checkmates. This can happen. So let's play the next game. Next game. We are black again. c4. Let's play with the move c5 now. And knight on c6. So we have symmetrical structure. Let's go with the move h5. It's not so bad, but risky. On the other hand, it's very funny. So we're gonna have a funny game. e6 is usually the move to play here. And there is g5 move, so it's not so bad. It looks like it's a very bad opening, but it's not so bad because we would like to go g4. So Objectively speaking, obviously, this is not the best, but it's not as bad as it is looking like. So it's not sort of trying to make fun of our opponent in no way. This is a playable. And first time I saw this g5 move, it was by Richard Rapport. He played it in a classical game and it was amazing. He played this e6 g5 and I was shocked. I said, what is this? But actually it's very, very playable. So let's go, let's go. So what do we have here in the chat? Do we have some questions or not yet? Yeah, I see. Queen g1, checkmate. Yeah, missed it, missed it. Happens, what to do? My opponent also missed it. What to do? Sometimes this happens. So, d3, attacking the pawn on g5. Our idea is to get g4, so we try to attack the knight on f3, knight on g5. Very dangerous because we can win another tempo here by playing bishop on e7, but the question is, should we put the bishop to g7, h6 or e7? Difficult to say, but maybe after bishop on e7 he is going to play the move h4, so it would make sense maybe first play the move h4 by ourselves and then to try to do something. So let's go with the move h4. We still have the option of playing bishop e7, we have the option of playing f6, and we would like to get the pawn to h3 of course, because then white is sort of obliged to take on c6, so to get rid of this bishop on g2 is a very, very good idea. So let me read the chat a little bit. Why you're not playing rated? Of course I'm playing rated, as you can see, but obviously I don't care at all about the online rating, especially why to care about it. I mean, it is not even a little indication of anything. So let's see what happens next here for white. I think with white maybe it's worth taking on h4, because how else to let black play the move h3 feels risky. So as you can see, it's not objectively the best opening ever for black, or let's call it idea. Maybe it's not correct to call it opening. So it's quite interesting. You can try it out in your own games. It's very, very risky to play this with black, but it's not a bad thing. So it's not like super bad. If I got paired with 2100, yes, I got paired with 2100. I just click to have 10 minutes game, and then I'm getting paired with whoever it is. Because today morning I had this 400 plus minus, and then we had no opponents, so not to wait too long, I just deleted this 400 plus minus and we're playing with whoever comes. So let's get now the move bishop e7. No, we are trying to get the knight on g5. The knight can escape to e4, and we will continue hunting the knight by playing the move f5 or d5. So we have two options here, d5, f5. What is the better one? I don't know. Both is looking okay, but d5 a little bit dangerous because he's gonna take, and then we have this knight takes d5. The tactics. So let's go with the move f5. So we are avoiding the tactic by white. And let's take to open the rook. As well, we are checking if f-pawn or h-pawn. Our opponent decides to take with the h-pawn, so now we have to get the queen to the h-file. How can we get the queen there? We can play something like bishop to f6, then queen e7, queen h7. Looks pretty decent. maybe we can also just play the move knight f6, king f7, and then queen g8, queen to h7 also looks pretty decent. I like it more. I like it more. Let's develop a piece just in case. Never bad to get the pieces into the game first. So now we have this idea of king f7 and queen g8, queen to h7. For white, very difficult to play because white lost so much time with the knights. That's why we could advance here with the tempos. To win tempos is always great. Now we have to choose to go with the move king f7. I think white is getting ready to play the move f3, so we have to be a little bit careful with the move f3. How can we do something against the move f3? I don't know. Also, we have to think, what can we do here with the pieces? Bishop c8, queen d8. It would be good to actually long castle, but a little bit difficult to get long castle. What could be the next move for black? Somehow we can just play this b6 followed by the move bishop b7. Looks a little bit slow, but is quite strong, I think. Or should we go with a very direct bishop on d6, so it is against the move f3, but there might be f4 coming. Still, we can take on f3 probably and do better. I think this direct approach might be not so bad now. So bishop d6, idea queen e7 and queen to h7. The bishop on d6 is nicely placed because we can sacrifice the bishop somewhere on g3 with a mating attack. Knight on b3, alright, there's maybe preparation for the move d4, so let's go with the idea that we had to get the queen to h7, d4, queen to h7. We would like to checkmate here. There's just one move, rook to e1, and we should be able, I think, to sacrifice eventually here on g3, so how to sacrifice in the best way. Still, we have this bishop here on c8, very bad bishop, so now it's like we have to do something quick here. D takes c5 is coming next. Of course, not the most dangerous move, but still. How to give a checkmate? Very difficult to give a checkmate against the bishop on g2, so the bishop is so powerful there, so difficult to give a checkmate. Let me think, what could be the next attacking move by black? Not easy, by the way. Not so easy to give a checkmate. I think we have a nice idea, but it's so risky. Let's try. Queen h5. So what is the idea of queen to h5? The idea is to play knight h7 and knight on g5. It looks like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the best, but quite creative, I think. Might work. Let's see. This knight h7, knight g5, knight to f3. Can white somehow do something against the knight on h7 idea? I think yes, because there is king f1 now, followed by the move king on e2. Oh, he takes. Now the question is knight on e5 takes, knight f3, check. Is it not over? King f1, we can give a check. Not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure that black is winning there. So maybe let's go back first. Doesn't feel good to go back. Maybe here. Also feels like a little bit strange. Okay, let's go. Let's go with the move bishop on b8. I hope to get knight to e5 next, and knight goes to f3. Maybe I could have sacrificed the piece, but I'm just not sure that this is a checkmate. So we play a very safe bishop on b8. So what do we have here in the chat? So of course I'm not going for the rating. As I said many times, I don't care about the rating. We are playing random opponents, and whoever comes. I try to explain the games. Otherwise, it is just not making sense. So, knight on e5, knight on f3. I think white has to defend against this by putting the knight on d4. So let's see what happens next. Let me read for a second. Very long sentences, by the way, hard to read. So, some questions. I don't see questions. Only by Solomon. Why no candidates coverage? Because I'm starting a little bit later and the games are almost done, so that's why no candidates. Otherwise, of course, candidates is a very, very exciting event, at least in my opinion. Knight on e4. Let's continue trying to give a checkmate. Now we have the second knight coming to g5. Still, we have this horrible bishop on c8, so not sure that we are capable of delivering a checkmate. Maybe we need some luck here. Let's see. So, I see a question by Ryan. I'm 2100 in puzzles, but 1350 rapid. What to do? I don't know. Usually, in case you're good in tactics, you should be okay in rapid or blitz. I think the problem is that the ratings online is not a real indication. So this is the problem, that the ratings are pretty... I would not call it fake, because yes, they are not fake, but it's not really a big indication. So here we have a beautiful idea, I think, for black, how to continue, because finally we can get out the bishop from b7. I waited so long to get my bishop out, and finally we're getting out the bishop. After we get the bishop out, obviously black is going to win the game, so it's all about the bishop on c8. I think now we can be pretty sure that we are going to win. So I see a question: when you reroute the knight, is it possible to give a checkmate? It depends. We have to calculate each time. So bishop gets to b7 next, and then we can be sure to give a checkmate. So it looks now very, very good. I think my opponent should have done something to keep my bishop on c8, because now that the bishop gets to b7, we have this monster pin here on the long diagonal, so it will get very, very difficult to do something for white against it. That's it, I think. So an interesting opening. You can try it for yourself. This e6, g5 in the close positions. Sometimes it can be interesting, but very, very risky, obviously. But it is an interesting try. So, it seems like our opponent is not sure what to do, so he just resigns. Yeah, the game is, of course, looking winning for black. Maybe a bit too early to resign in the current position, but it's hard to do something against the move bishop on b7, and yeah, it's going to be a checkmate. Alright, so let's go with the next game. Let's go. Still, we have to wait for our next opponent. It seems like no one is playing the 10-minute games, or not so many. Okay, let's go with the move d4. Last time we played the move e4, now d4, c4. Let's play some central openings. Wow, we have the move e5. It's not so bad. Yeah, this is a tricky opening. It's not so bad, by the way. Obviously, it's not the best, but it's not so bad. Okay, let's go with the move knight to f3, bishop on b4, and here there's an easy way to get, I think, slightly better position. It is to play the move bishop on d2. There are some lines with knight bd2. It's also perfectly okay for white, but bishop d2 I think is the simplest way to continue here. It's gonna be a very, very small advantage for white, but a very solid one. So he takes, we take back. At the moment we have this pawn up. Let's go with the move a3 to attack the bishop because the pin is quite unpleasant. So we take. Still we have the pawn up and we can defend the pawn. It's gonna be slightly better endgame, or we will play e3, which is also slightly better. Not much, again, very, very little better. So endgame or no endgame? This is the question. Let's see. Endgame, no endgame. I don't know, not so sure. Maybe let's go for no endgame yet. So let's go for the move e3. Anyway, he is gonna take the pawn, yeah, and I will play simple move bishop on e2. Now we can put the knight on d4, or we can wait for black to take on f3. We're gonna take with the bishop, and then we play short castle b4, rook c1. So we have this kind of little pressure on the position of black. It's very, very close to equal, but still black has to suffer to be like very equal. In chess, sometimes positions that are looking equal are actually quite unpleasant, and especially now with the computers, evaluations has changed so much. Not so long ago, in case, let's say you have a rook endgame 4 versus 3, obviously the 4 pawns are doing much better, and actually it's very difficult to hold this position with the 3 pawns, but computer just gives you equal, like completely equal, which is obviously completely false, yeah, because you have a very difficult position. And yeah, this is what happened to chess, that a lot of positions are completely misevaluated by the computers. Alright, let's go with the move rook on c1. Usually the idea is to play the move c5. c5 is good because there is no more d6. The idea for black, a5, a4, it is a good idea, but the problem is that I might be very quick now with the move c5. Can I play the move c5? He's trying to stop me from playing the move c5, but I'm not sure that it stops, because let's think about it. Take. I will play the move queen on d5, attacking the knight, or maybe I can play also queen c3. Take, short castle, take, and the endgame is slightly better for white, so not a big advantage, but I think we are doing a little bit better. Let's take a look if we can find even something more than being a little better. Who knows, maybe we have a chance. Maybe we should just play the move queen on c3 with the idea of playing c5. Also, this is looking pretty good for white. So again, some small advantage, of course, nothing major. So, little better endgame. Is it the best we have? I don't know. It doesn't look like it is the best, because it feels like we should have something here to have more than just a little better. Maybe we should play the position after a knight on d4 and f4. Also, this is very interesting. I think it's a little better as well. Not sure. So c5 or knight on d4. We have the two options. I think knight on d4 a little bit more ambitious here. c5 is just too little. That is too little. Yes, maybe some small advantage, but it feels like just too little. So let's put the knight on d4 and let's continue with the move f4 to get rid of this knight here. On e5, of course, very, very good knight. f4, we make some weakness on e4, but maybe it's still okay. Let's see where the knight is gonna go from e5. Of course, we should have maybe played first the move knight on b5. But okay, maybe f4 is okay. Let's see. Let's see, position is quite complex, many different options. This is what makes the position quite complex to play. We hope to get bishop f3 followed by the move e4, so in case we manage to play something like this, white probably will be doing a little better. Smart move, knight on d7, so he would like probably to get the knight on c5, yes. And we have to get ready probably to play the move e4. In case we play e4 immediately, knight takes, queen e3, there is a move f5, so maybe not the best. It feels a bit pity to play the rook to e1, but it would be good to have this one, but I'm afraid to have this fork sometimes. So, or maybe it's okay. Rook e1. Can black do something against the move e4? Maybe to play f5 is the best. But for the moment, black is playing an excellent game, I think. So, what can we do here? Not easy. Not easy at all, actually, for white, because I've been calculating this move e4, but there is knight e4, take, rook e1, the queen goes to g6, we have knight on b5, but c6, and I don't see how to proceed from there. No idea. So let's play the move rook e1. I don't think e4 was working. So let's play first the move rook to e1. I hope to get the move e4 done, but not easy. My other idea is to get knight on b5, very, very unpleasant position for black, of the knight on b5, because there is never c6. So maybe the idea knight b5, knight c3, knight d5 might work sometime, but maybe not. So maybe black is doing actually completely fine. In case I'm not in time to play the move e4, then black might be doing well here. f5, yeah, this is a good move for black. He would like to get the knight on e4, so I thought that I should play something like rook to f2, rook to e2, just try to get the move e4, but let's see. Let's see if we can get the move e4 done on the board. Knight on e4, now we're gonna take it, obviously. I'm not sure that knight e4 is the right way to play for black, because the knight might be better than the bishop somewhere. Now it's very, very important what happens next, obviously. Next couple of moves will decide the game. If I'm able to create some threats with my knight, if not, then black is doing very well. Maybe I should go like queen c3, but there's bishop d7, I'm gonna play c5, just take, and probably black is doing well. How can I get active here? Knight on b5, c4, pawn is falling, so not easy. I think I have to play almost the move queen on c3, I don't see something better. Yeah, maybe we're just getting crushed. Maybe we are just getting crushed, so let me read the comments. What do we have in the chat? No comments for the moment. Okay. Queen on c3. I would like maybe to play the move c5 or to play rook f3 and rook to g3. So this is the idea. Anish just won with a really nice bishop sacrifice. Anish is coming back. He had a bad start and now he's completely back, yeah. Anish is fighting like a lion to catch Sindarov. It's gonna be difficult to catch, but Anish is back, yeah. This is true. Okay, rook is getting to g6. It's okay. Maybe we could go like knight to e2, knight on g3, but rook f6. A bit strange play, but maybe very good play. How can I get something here? Okay, I think I should go knight on e2 because I don't see how else get rid of this queen on e4. I would like to play knight on g3 and then to play the move e4, so if we get the move e4 done, then I think it's okay for white. With black, I think he could have gone bishop e6, not to allow me to play the move e4. I would play the move rook to c1, because now if I get the move e4 done, it might be quite dangerous for black. So let's see, let's see. If I think there is a realistic chance that somebody's gonna catch up Sindarov, very small chance. Sindarov is playing so convincingly, very, very convincingly. He's playing great chess, so it doesn't look like someone might danger Sindarov for the moment. So, why is e4 so crucial? Because we break the pawn structure of black and the knight is getting into the attack. So e4 is very, very important. The combination of knight and queen in case we get into the attack is just so dangerous for black. So usually to defend with knight and queen not so easy, but to attack with knight and queen is something very good. So the knight is under attack at the moment. We can defend it by playing queen d4, but let's go first with the move rook to e2. It looks like the right place to be for the rook. And I thought that I can play queen on d4, there might be some queen b6, this kind of endgame. How is the endgame? I think should be slightly better for white. Do we have something better? I'm not sure. So I think we should play the move queen on d4, most probably. We're defending the knight on e4. Next might be somewhere the move f5, f6, or to play very safe with the move king on f2. So we can choose what we do next. Maybe there is also some idea with queen on d5 because we have this knight f6 check in the right moment. If we do the check in the right moment, it might be winning for white. We have a couple of ideas. Also idea rook e3, rook to g3 might work somewhere. I personally don't believe much in this idea, but maybe somewhere it might be working. Let's see. Let's see what happens next. I think now we're doing slightly better because after opening at some point, I think black had an excellent position and now we are back. In the beginning, our opponent played a great moves, and afterwards I think he made a couple of mistakes. So we have a comment by expert. His name is Shortcut Factory. The position is equal. How do you know that the position is equal, Mr. Expert? So Sindarov, the next world champion officially. Good chance, yeah. In case Sindarov is going to qualify, he has a very high chance of beating Gukesh, yeah. In the current shape, Gukesh is not even dangerous in my opinion. So, very, very good chance for Sindarov indeed, yeah, of course. So, let's see. Our opponent is thinking now for a very long time, so he is not sure what to play next, and indeed not easy to make a move for black. This is the thing that queen and knight, in case they're well positioned, usually are dominating the game. In case queen and knight are in the attack, then usually it's very, very dangerous combination. In case they are defending something, yes, this might be beatable. So the bishop is better in an endgame, but in case we're adding queens, then queen knight is usually better than queen and bishop. In most of the cases, in case we have a chance to attack something especially. So in case you have queen and knight versus queen and bishop, try to attack, try to find a way to get to your opponent's king. So let's see. Now it seems like our opponent is going to lose on time. He doesn't like to play the next move. Maybe disconnection. No, he just thought for a very long time about the move rook to e7. What could be the idea of rook to e7? I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what is the idea of this. Maybe let's play something very solid like the move king f2. Just to protect the rook here. Oh, he wanted to change the queens. Alright, so let's change. Now we have the option of taking the pawn on d6, I think. Because the rook cannot take, we have the rook e7. I think we are capable of taking, so it looks like a free pawn. Let's double check, but I don't see what black can play after knight takes d6. So we take the pawn. You see how useful king f2 can be? Of course, I could not predict that he wants to change the queens, but it's just so useful to defend the rook just in case. So we did it, and it was a good choice. This endgame should be winning for white, because pawn up position plus this pawn is not so good. b7 not the best, the double pawn, so we might be able to win even some more pawns. Let's see if we can make it happen. So g3 defending everything, and I think we should be able somewhere to play the move knight c8 and win the pawn on b6. But first, maybe let's get the king a little bit more central. Never bad to have the king, and he gives us the pawn. Okay, so we say thank you, and we're taking the pawn. So we take. Next move is king on d4. Where is he walking? Let's go, maybe he would like to go here, but we're gonna go back. But what is actually the easy way to win the current position? Because we have here the bad structure, so we might get the knight to e5. Is it an easy win with the knight on e5? I think we should go here, because if we get the knight to e7, I think it should be an easy win. So let's go. Let's get the knight here. The bishop is so good in endgames. Wow. Pawn endgame. Take. Here, take b4, take a4. I think we're one move faster. So every time I see a winning combination, usually I do this. Boom. So you can think a little bit for yourself. But I think it is a win. Let's double check. It looks like a win, so let's go. We take, we play b4, so he is obliged to take ab because there's nothing else. Now we get the king closer in case he takes, we play a4, and I think we are just faster. Let's run, let's run. We are faster. So it's going to be a win because we are faster. All we need to do is now to collect the pawns. I guess our opponent is going to resign. Queen up. No, he is not going to resign. Alright, no problem. So let's collect the rest of the pawns. Yes, he resigns. We win the game. So quite a funny game, I think. All in all. He played very well in the beginning, but then slowly we managed to get back into the game and outplay our opponent in an endgame. Alright, let's go with the next game. In case you like my comments, of course, subscribe, like. We are still a little channel here on VChess, but we try to grow, so you would help us very much with that. e4, c6, we have the move c4 been played. We can go, of course, with the move d5, but let's play the move e5, just to have something else, just to have a new position here. We have like a Philidor or a King's Indian with the move c4. Usually white should aim knight f3 and d4. So we go d6. So d4, yeah, this is what we expected, and knight on d7, so we try to be solid. It is a mixture of, let's say, Philidor and King's Indian. Now we have few ways. We can get the bishop to g7, or we play with the bishop on e7. Both is very playable in my opinion. Let's maybe play with a bishop on e7 because we had so many games on King's Indian, so this time let's get the bishop to e7. Bishop on e7 next. Short castle. very normal. For those of you who like to play the Philidor, I think this structure is very common, except we don't have the move c4 on the board, which makes it like Philidor, King's Indian, something in between. So castle, castle. The next move is usually here for black rook e8, followed by the move bishop f8. It's good to have the bishop on f8 or to play the move a6. I like the move a6 because we would like to play the b5 next. And after the move a4, here comes important moment. So the next move by black is quite important. And we play the move a5. So do not forget to play the move a5. We are covering the dark squares. This is going to be so useful in the future. Bishop on e3, rook e8. Now we proceed with the old idea. We would like at some moment to take on d4 and then we put the knight on c5, and with white there is no way to get rid of the knight on c5 because we have the a5 pawn. So this kind of structure, a4, a5, is usually a good structure for black. Quite important in case you're playing similar positions. So I usually struggle against Scandinavian. What is your recommendation? I think just play the main lines. Scandinavian is not a dangerous opening, so the guy plays d5, just take the pawn, play knight c3, play d4. I think is just better for white. Very simple better, in my opinion. We have queen on d2, so he likes to get the rook on d1. Good idea by our opponent. Still, we should, I think, put the bishop to f8. And we are waiting to take on d4 in the right moment to get this knight c5 idea. So currently we would like to take and maybe to win the pawn on e4. So white is under little pressure. More common is to play queen on c2, so not on d2 the queen, but queen on c2. Oh, he takes. Okay, we take back. Now we have this bishop on b4. So important that we have played the move a5. Such a great move a5. Now, what we do next? We should get out with our bishop, I think, but usually the main idea is actually to change the bishop here, on e3. So I don't know if we should play the move bishop on b4 or just proceed with very calm queen on c7. So we put the queen to a nice position. I think bishop b4 is not going to run away, and the main idea is to play bishop on c5. So in case we manage to get rid of the bishop on e3, this position is going to be better for black. Currently it's already quite nice, but in case we manage to change the bishop on e3, it's going to be great. So knight on h4. Where is the knight going? I guess to f5, so we should defend against this. We have, I think, knight on c5 also is not looking bad, attacking the pawn. Queen on c2 will be played by white, and then to get the knight on e6. Yeah, this is also looking very good. Maybe g6 is also looking good, so we can choose now to play knight on c5 or to play g6. What is the best? I don't know. Let's maybe try the move knight on c5 because we have this attack now on e4 and get the knight to e6. So knight e6 is next. I see a question. Sir, as white, can you show ideas in Spanish opening? Someone wants a free lesson. Do you want to become a member of Vichess community? What about that? Knight on f5. Now we can go knight on f4 or g6, which is also typical. So maybe g6. This knight on f5 pretty strong, so we get rid of the knight on f5. We would like to get the knight on f4. We would like to get bishop on c5 to change. So we have a couple of good options here. Knight on h6. We can take it and put our knight on d4. Looks powerful, but why not just to play king on g7? Because I would like to keep my bishop to play the move bishop on c5. Not a must. I could have taken, I think would be completely okay, but just why not to play the move king on g7. Our main idea is to get this bishop c5 done. So we continue playing according to our plan. Let's see if we have a good plan, but I think looks reasonably strong. Simply take, why not? Let's get rid of this bishop here on g4, because so unpleasant, the bishop on g4. In case he takes, we're gonna have the bishop pair. Bishop pair is always good. Let's see. No, he does not take, and we continue with our idea, bishop c5. So finally we got the bishop on c5. And why is it so good to have the bishop on c5? Because now we're gonna control the square on d4, so this is extremely important square. The only way maybe for white to keep the square is to go knight on e2 in the future, and of course to play knight on e2 is not something that is great to do. That's why bishop c5, very, very important. It is a fight for the dark squares, and for those of you who are watching the game from the opening, you saw when white played the move a4 and I answered with the move a5, so we can see that this is extremely important that we have the pawn on a4 against the pawn on a5. This is so important. Take, alright. Next, we go back and we get to d4. Finally, the knight is getting to d4. We wait for that so long already. Queen on e2. Is he getting ready to sacrifice? I don't think so. So knight on e6. We have this knight f4 idea, but of course we get the knight on d4. Where will the bishop belong? Usually we get the bishop to e6, so the bishop is going to take a place of the knight on e6. Wow, he sacrifices, but I think he has missed one tactic here. So let's do the usual F, boom, because we have a winning continuation here for black. I hope you can find it. I give you 10 seconds time. For those of you who are following the game, you can think now for yourself. We have a winning continuation. To take, it is a winning continuation, but there is something better than taking on h5. And now I'm gonna make the move. It is to play knight f4. So very good for those of you who saw the move knight on f4. Excellent. We are winning the piece on h5 and the game is over. So it's a direct win. That's it. The game is over. So we had to, I think strategically we played very, very well by having this a4, a5, changing the bishop, and then finally we had the knight on d4, or almost the knight on d4. Our opponent panicked a little bit. He sacrificed the piece on h5, and we played this knight on f4, attacking the queen and getting the bishop on h5. So that's it. That's it. The game is over. Still, let's play it well till the end. So let's get the bishop. Next, we're gonna play simple moves. Let's develop the pieces. Bishop e6. Let's bring back the knight to f4. Let's get the queen to g5. So we have the following idea. Let's bring as well the rook. Yeah, why not? So let's get the rook to d8. He is getting very aggressive with the move g4. No problem for us. We have knight on f4. We change piece up. Should be enough. So take. Check. We can simply go back to g8. We have the extra bishop here on e6. Next we're gonna change the rooks. And that's it. So queen on f6. Some threats, not really. What is the easiest way to win the current position? I think to play bishop on b3 is not looking bad, but there is some kind of rook on d6 idea, maybe. Of course, it is a winning position for black, out of question, but is it the easiest way to win here? We can play queen on e7, little tactics here, because in case he takes, we're gonna have this in between taking, and yeah, also looks like a win. But I think maybe even more easy it is to play the move f3 now, because we give the pawn, he's gonna take, and then we put the queen to e5, and with the queen on e5, I think it will be just over. So I think that's it. We are going to win the current game. Beautiful queen here on e5. Now the pawns of white are going to fall. Very soon we're gonna eat everything away. By the way, during your thinking about the position, do you listen to the music that I have in the background, or you're just focused on the moves? Because for me, I almost don't hear it. During I'm commenting, I'm not focusing on the music at all. So, take. So let me know in the chat if you think it's better to have commentaries with the music or without. Just interesting. Some people say usually with is maybe a little better, but I don't know. With the music. Okay, so let's keep on playing the music. Rook on d1. I think we can just take it now, and we're gonna take the pawn. King goes here, very safe. Let's return to e5 next, and let's start pushing the pawns. Everything according to the plan, no rush. Pawn is hanging, b5 coming next. So little time left for our opponent, but time does not play a role here. The game cannot be saved. Piece down is just too much to save the game. f4. Wow, what is the idea of f4? I don't know, so I just take it. Bishop on e6, extra bishop. Let's go back. g5 is going to fall next, but it doesn't really matter, because being a full piece up is just too much. Yeah, our opponent resigns, so quite a slow win for us, but I think we played quite well strategically. Step by step. So the next game, the previous game we played the move d4, so this time let's start with the move e4. We have the Caro-Kann defense, and let's go with the move knight on c3, followed by the knight to f3 line. So this is of course not the main line of Caro-Kann, but it's very playable with white. Queen on e2, we are defending the knight on e4, change, and we have this kind of slightly better positions usually here for white. Very little better, so not so much. The black knight is getting to f6. This is normal. Usually we have the bishop c4 line. This would be main, but let's play the move d4. Also, this is not so bad. And let's go with the move queen on e2, because the idea is to get g3 next. Bishop on g4, c3, defending the pawn on d4. e6. Okay, let's attack the bishop. Let's force him to take. Yeah, he takes. And we have this kind of slightly better position for white because we have the bishop pair. So I believe these positions are pretty pleasant to play with the white pieces because we have the bishop pair. And there's no obvious reason why not to be a little better here. Bishop on d3, this is normal. Next we castle short side. And we have this kind of very long game here. which is just slightly better for white. Let's play. Let's play. So, with black, I guess we're gonna see the move short castle. This would be normal. Our opponent is considering something. A6. Wow, way to play the move A6. What is this? What is a move A6? Can you believe it? Way to play A6. This is impossible move to make. What is a move A6? Very confusing. A4. We will try to get the pawn on A5. Now we can change the queens to have slightly better endgame, but there is no must. So maybe let's keep the queens on the board. No reason to change, at least for now. But I think in case someone plays A6, there are two options, because this move is impossible move to play for anyone who is, I don't know, who is thinking by himself, because why to play the move A6? It makes zero sense. Not even a slightest sense in the move A6 before a castle, so not to castle first, but to play A6 first. This is an impossible play, just so I don't know. Let's see if we will get completely crushed. Well, then we play against someone who is just way too strong for us. A rook on d1. Little trap here. Still, why he played the move a6? It makes zero sense, literally zero. Now with the black pieces, bishop h7 is a threat, so I guess he still wants to get an endgame, but is it not a better endgame for white? So let's take. Now we have the option of getting the bishop here to e4. There is some knight on g3 idea, but I think it is not dangerous, so let's go with the move bishop e4. We would like to grab here something on b7, rook on d8. Wow. Is it working? Very risky play by black. I think we might be capable of playing bishop on g5, so we would like to attack the rook on d8. Now it's gonna be so difficult to defend the pawn on b7. The power of the bishops. I think I might be even capable of playing bishop e3, because take, and how to defend the pawn on b7 for black. Is there a defense? As well, just to play bishop on d2 is looking like it is almost game over. I don't know how to defend for black after bishop on d2. Is there a defense? Not sure. I'm not sure. It looks like it should be already here, almost winning. So let's calculate again. Bishop on e3. Take. Now the b7 pawn is under attack. So what black is capable of doing? No idea. So let's go with the move bishop on e3, because I just don't see how to defend the pawn on b7. There might be something like b6, yes, but then the knight is so bad also here. I don't know. It looks like this position must be way better for white. Maybe I should have played bishop on d2 to keep the bishop pair, but we would like to catch now the knight. Is it just... Can the knight escape here? g4? Ah, now I understand. He likes to play the move f5, but this is also quite a bad position, I think. Okay, let's go with the move g4. Knight is almost caught. It looks like a winning position now for white. f5 is forced, yeah, but I think I can take it now. Or bishop b7 first and then to take. Also, this is looking like... I think I should just take. Just easy decisions. There's no need to do something spectacular here. So, we can win the pawn on f5, it's not enough to win the game. Interesting. Not sure, yeah. It looks like a very good position for white, but I think to take the pawn. Okay, let's take the pawn, because not to take the pawn feels bad when we have the option of winning the pawn on f5, and now he's thinking about what is he thinking. Very strange player. We win the pawn. Now I guess there is only a rook to d2, because I don't see something else for black. And we have, I think, the move rook on f1, because we would like to give this checkmate here. So rook f1, rook to f2 is looking good. Maybe we can play the move a5, but not so convincing. So let's go with the move rook on f1, I think it's good. There is no knight on g3 because of bishop e6 check. So we would like to get rook on f2, and it should be a winning position. Is there a way to defend the position for black? Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Bishop is usually better than the knight when it comes to endgames. Plus we have the extra pawn, so it looks like a very good position for me. We have a chance of winning. So let me read the comments. So we have a comment by Solomon. I don't like all the rules. It depends which rule you mean. Most of the rules are not so bad. Bishop pair is definitely better in most of the endgames than knight and bishop, for example, so it makes sense, the rule. Now, let's give a check. And let's go with the move rook on f2 next. So we would like to get rid of this very unpleasant rook on d2. Knight on the side, not the best, yeah. The knight in the center, obviously, is much, much better. So, rook on d6. Now, we have to move the pawn somehow forward, but first we have to defend the bishop. I think bishop on c4 looks like a nice move, because we're winning a tempo. And now I think time to walk. Is it time to walk for the pawn? I'm a little bit scared of something like g5, but there's e5, check, knight f4. I don't know. I don't know if this is the best that we can do in the current position. Maybe we have something better, but it looks good to play the move e4, so let's go. Because we have as well this bishop on d5 next. It feels good to try to get e5, e6. Still a fight, still not over. Maybe we can play the move b4 somewhere to get this kind of two pass pawns. At the moment we don't need it, but in the future something like b4 might be not a bad idea. So obviously let's see first what is going to be the next move by black, and then we will consider if we should get the move b4. To get the king to the center would be also nice. We have a little bit here. Not a perfect position of the king on g1, so still a fight, still a fight. Not so easy the current position. Just imagine if he might get the knight from h5 to e5, then suddenly this position might be already just a little better for white, so not so much. So, check. We will move the king h2 or g2. In case I go king on g2, the idea g5, no. So let's go king on g2, because I don't think there is g5. So, rook on e1. This is the idea of my opponent. Not so bad, by the way. Now, we have the option of playing bishop on e2. There might be a check on f4. King on f3. Playable, yes, but is it the best? Is it the best that we can do? I don't think so. Let's try something else. How can we defend the pawn on e4? Bishop on d5 is looking decent, so maybe bishop on d5. Looks okay. Also, king f3 was looking okay, so we had two options. Quite normal. Let's first put the bishop to d5. Maybe there is knight f6. Yeah, I also thought so. And here I would wanted to get my king closer. Maybe it's not the best, or it's okay. I think might be okay. King f3. So we try to be as active as we can. In case we get the king very active, then it should be a winning position. So maybe not so simple, but some chance. The next move of black, he takes, I'm gonna take back. So now we have the rook endgame. King f6. Whoa. Is it the right choice? Because I can just change the rooks, but is this endgame a win actually? I don't know. I don't know if this is a winning position. It looks like a win, but not 100% sure. So g5, h5, but then how to proceed here? He just plays king f5, king f5. It might be a draw. Very strange, but this move might be a draw. It looks like a win, but I don't see a win. So I think we should first get something like this, or maybe c4. Very strong move, king f6, because it looks like this would just win the game, but I think it is a draw in a pawn endgame with an extra pawn. Very weird, but I don't see a win. There might be a win, so, but I just don't see it. A little bit strange. So he's still not afraid, so let's go with the move, maybe rook on d2. So I have this d6, d7 idea somewhere. I would like his rook to be passive if possible. Then I think we'll have some decent winning chances. d6 might be the next move. Of course, it would be also great to push something like b4, rook b2, rook takes b4. Just I'm a little bit scared that this might be a draw. I think it's not so easy to win. So still not an easily winning position. Rook e7, another very good move by our opponent, I think. How to win the current position? I think maybe h4, so we have the winning pawn in games. So I think this endgame now, this should be a win in my opinion. Still, I get the king. Is it a win? Not 100%. It looks like a winning position, but who knows? Maybe first let's play the move rook to d3, but then there is this g5. We take rook here, g4, king on g3, then we're gonna take on b6. So maybe let's go with the move rook to d3, because I would like to play rook to b3 and take the pawn on b6. g5, okay, we're gonna take it, and rook on b3. Next, we're gonna take the pawn on b6. Is it a winning position, or is it just a draw? It would be pity to play a draw. Yeah, again, he plays the best move. I mean, he improved so much. How is it possible to improve your own play by so much and so fast? Very strong players. Very difficult to win, by the way. A great move here, rook on c7. Very difficult to win. I think we have to play rook c3 because I don't see a win. So we have to play rook to c3. Yeah, we have no chance of winning this game, I think. Our opponent is just way too strong. So most probably it's going to be a draw. Only luck can make us win the game here. We must hope that we are lucky. Nothing else, I think, is winning. Only luck. Let's see if we are lucky enough to win the game, but it doesn't look like for the moment that we will be lucky here. Little time, but also little time for our opponent, so let's see. Let's go here, because I would like to check him. So, lucky or not lucky? He played so strong in the endgame, but maybe we will be lucky in the end. So let's give a check. And let's get b3 to defend upon on c4. So we are defending the pawn on c4. Next, rook to f6. We try to grab the pawn on b6. I think our chance is to win on time here, but maybe also no, we're having a winning position, but still not sure that this is a winning position. So still it might be some drawing chances here, but probably we are doing winning now. But for some time he played incredibly strong in the defense. Just what is this move? This move is just making zero sense. So his strengths is like sometimes he plays just the best, and sometimes he plays moves like rook on g7 that are making literally no sense at all. So very, very strange player, let's call it like that. So let's go back just in case. We will grab the pawn next. So we give a check and then we're gonna win the pawn on g5. Now we give a check. We have way too many pawns extra, so finally we are winning this endgame, but it was a huge fight. It was a huge fight here. 3 pawns up. Should be enough. Is it enough for us to win the game? So let's go here. Now let's simply take. Check. Another check. And the d-pawn decides the game. That's it. That's it. Very tough game. Very, very tough game. Our opponent, he played sometimes extremely strong and sometimes he gave us chances, so it was like the level sometimes super strong and sometimes really low. Very unpredictable opponent. Yeah, what to do, what to do, what to do. Next, who will be our next opponent? And oh, we play against 2000 player now. All right, d4, knight f6. We got paired against 2000 now. But again, I am playing anyone that comes, so I think it's also fair. We have random opponents. Thank you very much. In case you enjoyed my endgame play, but I think I have missed a couple of good chances, and then I think it was already very close to draw, but he played just like a genius. He played so well at some moment. Incredibly strong. So I had to give my best to win the game. Okay, let's go with the move b6 to have something more funny than the ordinary move d5, and we have the London system of the move knight on c3. Bishop on b7, very, very good bishop here, of course. e3 is not the best in my opinion. But okay, it's a playable position obviously for both white and black. Maybe let's get a little bit active here with a move bishop on b4. I try to play the move knight on d5 or to play knight on e4 next. So let's see. Bishop on d3. He does not care about my idea of playing knight on d5. Why he doesn't care, I don't know, so let me play it. I attack the bishop on f4, and simultaneously I would like to take the pawn on c3. I mean, I win the pawn, yeah. I take the knight, I win the pawn. So, I see in the chat we have some discussion about engine evaluation. Well, who cares? Who cares about the engine evaluation? Nobody plays like an engine, so I think it's not worth even thinking about it. I think in case you want to improve, you should forget about the engine evaluation. It doesn't matter. I give this advice again and again, and people don't listen to me. Believe me, if you want to get better, forget about the engine. Engine is not gonna make you a better chess player. I can guarantee you that. Engine is only for very strong chess players, so for the elite it makes a difference, but for everyone else, no, engine is not gonna make it better. Alright, so let's break his pawn structure. We're gonna destroy the pawn structure of white like completely. So first we take on c3, bc is obviously a must. Now we take on f4, to take back is a must, and we're gonna take on f3. So take back is a must again. Look at the pawn structure of white now. We have this triple pawns. Here we have the double. So quite funny. Quite funny pawn structure. With white, it doesn't look so beautiful to have this triple pawns, but well, the game goes on. Alright, how should we proceed here? I think maybe to play the move g3, it looks funny. Just to keep this triple pawn structure like eternally. The structure for white is not going to change here. Now, these triple pawns will be there for the whole game, yeah? Very funny, very funny. Yeah. Sometimes, I think chess positions can be funny. And sometimes as well, chess players are quite funny. There's a very famous and very funny chess story about Topalov. So Topalov was playing, and it was after the move 40, and he sought for a very long time, and he had almost a winning position. And what he did is he took his own queen, literally his own queen. So sometimes funny things do happen at a chess tournament, but quite rarely. If we speak objectively, usually chess players are very serious, so not much is going on. Okay, we have the long castle. Very aggressive play by our opponent. Let's try to keep our beautiful pawn structure here. Next, we will try to be solid with the king on e8, so it means we're gonna get out queen d6. Oh, he wants to take on d5, so let's play the move c6. Just because it's beautiful. It's not a must, of course. Not a must play by far, what is happening currently, but it's just so beautiful here. To have this pawn structure against the pawn structure of white. Just funny. So here we go. First sacrifice by our opponent. Well, let's take it. King on e8. Feels a little dangerous, of course. But at the moment, it's still, I think, okay. So knight on c6. No. Knight on d7, no. Bishop is on b5. Knight d7. Next, maybe a6, or next, maybe queen to e7, followed by the long castle. So we continue our strategy to play against the bad pawn structure of white. At the moment, we are pawn up, which is good. Position not that simple, I think. It's still very fighting here, but I guess we should be doing better. So it is like fighting better. So not a bad start. Not a bad start from the beginning of the game. he is trying to take our rook on e8, and same time, ooh, he has a very nasty trick to take on d5 next. Whoa. Very nice play by our opponent, very strong. How he found that? Such a beautiful play by our opponent, because to find bishop takes d5 is everything else than easy. Huge play by our opponent, I would say. Wow. Very impressive. Bishop on c6. Huge. Now we need to think, should we give exchange? Which is not great. Maybe we're not better any longer. Maybe there's just good play now for white. Unbelievable move, bishop c6 out of nowhere. Bishop c6 followed by bishop takes d5. Just huge tactics. Huge. What can we do here? I think we have to play rook c8. There is nothing better, so... Oh, he doesn't take? Why he doesn't take? Why to play bishop on b7? I don't understand this. I thought he has to take, but now we have the move bishop on b7. Very surprising. What could be his plan? Okay, so let's go with the rook on c7. I guess now he's gonna take, but why he provoked our rook to be on c7? I don't get it. Very weird. I don't understand the idea of that. Why bishop on b7? Why not to take immediately on d5? Because if I take back, it's a checkmate. So there is a check. King goes here, and then we have another check, and then we have a checkmate on g1. So what is the sense of playing bishop on b7 first? I don't know. Very difficult for me to understand that. Maybe there is something, but I don't get the point. Yeah, of course he takes now, but why to play first bishop b7? Why is the rook badly placed on c7? I don't know. I don't know, so let's continue playing. But huge tactics by our opponent. He played so well. We tried to put the knight on d5. Beautiful position for the knight. Still, we are just equal pawns. So we are not doing bad here with black pieces. Probably it's still better for black. But fantastic play by our opponent. Now a rook to e1. So the idea, in case I go knight on c3, he would like to take on e6. Ooh. Does it work again? This is unbelievable. In case this works, this would be just incredible. Wow. I think it doesn't work, but he is so tactical. So I think we're capable of playing the move knight on c3, but I'm so worried to get checkmated, but I think there is no checkmate. There is a move d5. It doesn't work, so I think there is bishop f4. It doesn't work, so I think, yeah, knight on c3 is looking like the right decision, but we are playing against incredibly tactical player. Huge in tactics. Knight on c3 now. How he calculated this bishop takes e6 so fast. Because I believe I can take rook takes, and then we have the solution of playing king on d7 and king to c8. So we run away. But unbelievable calculation by our opponent, so he plays really well. This bishop c6 followed by the move bishop takes d5, just impressive. I think huge. Very impressive play. So we have the move d5 on the board. He continues trying to give me a checkmate. Maybe I have the move queen on d6 now first with a threat to give a checkmate now to him. Is it worth it? I think so. So let's go with the move queen on d6. No blunder. I hope so. We would like to give a checkmate. And next we're gonna capture the rook on d1. In case we manage to win the rook on d1, yeah. And indeed we have a very beautiful picture of our opponent. Queen on d4. Again, very strong move. I completely missed the move queen on d4. Oh, this is bad. Why I missed this move? And maybe white is already doing better. Yeah, I completely missed the move queen on d4. I should have taken the rook. This was bad. This was really bad. Now, what can I do here? Can I do something, or maybe it is just lost for black? So, is there a way to save the game, or is it just over? Maybe I'm just completely lost here. Let's think a little bit. Maybe we will be able to save the game, but it doesn't look like we're going to save the game because I don't see like even an option here to play on the current position. Yes, it's queen d4. Very strong. We are playing someone who is just extremely strong. What to say? He is just very, very good. So, is there a defense? Maybe no defense. Maybe there is just no defense. What can we do to play on in the current position? No idea. No idea how to survive here. Yeah, like nothing. I see like absolutely nothing except playing something like e5, but this is just completely lost for black. Yeah, we have nothing. We can just resign after the move queen d4 out of nowhere. Yeah, I should have taken the rook, but still, in case I would take the rook, it would be far from easy everything. So we are playing against a very, very strong opponent once again. Obviously, his rating of 2038, this is not objective. He should be at least 2-6, I think. 2-6, 2-7, this would be, I think, the appropriate rating of our opponent, because he is just very strong. So, king on d8, we have nothing better. This is looking like complete game over. I don't think it's possible to save the current position because so much lost. How to escape here? Obviously, we will fight, but it doesn't look like it's possible to save the current position. Very, very bad endgame. Let's go knight on b5. I think this is like the only chance here. So we try to get the knight on d6. In case we get the knight on d6, there are some little chances. Because now at least we have one good piece on the board, so there might be some little chances here to survive the game after the move knight on d6. The bishop is pretty bad on b3, so this might be our chance to get back. King on d7, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Is it the best? Okay, let's go with the move king on d7, because in case of check I have the move b5, so we are still fighting. Not over yet, because we have this monster knight on d6, so still we are in the game, not over yet. But of course, our opponent is a beast, so little chances to save the current game, I think. But we are fighting, so let's bring the rook into the game. Rook e8 or rook to g8. Let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. In chess, it's never over, so we have to fight. Rook to g1. Okay, let's go with the move for rook to g8. So let's change the rooks, because I hope to get some counterplay because of the knight on d6. It's a very, very good knight, so we still have some chances. Not over yet. Let's defend the pawn. Maybe b5 next, or king e7 next, just to be safe. c4. Okay, let's go with the move rook to g2 to take the both pawns away. We are fighting. It's not over. This is not over yet. It looked like game over for me, but now we are back. And he has very little time on the clock, so let's fight. The pawn on f3 is going to fall. We are back. We are back. We are fighting. So, still not an easy defense for black, if we would be objectively speaking. He also plays always the best moves. It's incredible. How is it possible that he always does the best? So let's defend here as a pawn. Now he moves forward. Let's go here. Let's give a check. And what we do next here, we are almost back, I think. Let's get the king to a very active position. Good move again. Okay. Let me check you. Let me check you. So, now let's go back. And it should be now quite a good position here for black, I believe. Let's go here. Maybe this was bad, but I wanted to play king d4, but I think I did something stupid here. Maybe king f6, is it winning? But there is this... played a bad move again. Again, I played some terrible move. So let's move here. Because he has chances to survive in the current position. Now he wants to take. Actually, what should I play here? Okay, let's give him a check. Let's give him a check. I don't know why I'm giving the checks, but let's just do it. So let's play here. Let's go here, trying to give him a checkmate. What a position here. We take, then we go back. Maybe we are very lucky in the end. Here's a checkmate. Yes. But what a move, rook f8, rook takes f7. No, this is impossible, because why he should do that? This is just no way, because take a look at the position here. Would you ever play rook f8 followed by rook f7? It makes no sense. This move just makes absolutely no sense, because there is a way to take the pawn even on h7. So why to play the move rook f8? No, but this is... something is not right here with the guy, because sometimes he plays so good. And then we have moves as rook f8 or bishop c4. What is this? I don't understand, because this cannot be. This cannot be right, because such a strong play in between. And then we have this kind of rook f8 was the idea. Rook f7, what? In case you're playing, okay, you can play rook e8, for example. It makes at least sense. You give the pawn, you want to take the knight. Still, there's king on d3, obviously, but this is making sense from the logical point of view, from the human point of view. Or you push the pawn, which is making sense, but to play rook f8 followed by rook f7, I mean, no way. Because how to get the idea of rook f8? No way to get it. So yeah, what to do? What to do? It was a very tough game. Very tough game. He played at some moment excellent in the beginning. Obviously, we played an amateur player. So let's check the game just for you to understand that this cannot be a real opponent. So it's very easy to see. So first, he lets me play, for example, queen on d2. Nobody plays queen on d2. If you play, you do short castle. So queen on d2, this is a sign that we're playing against quite an amateur player. So he goes for something like this. Obviously, we are not playing a very strong opponent. This is easy to see. Then c4, very strong move. How to understand for not a very strong opponent to play the move c4, because it's just a very strong push. f5, another great move. f5. Is it possible? Maybe. Bishop b5. Looks like why to play the move bishop b5. So for example, me, I did not see why to play the move bishop b5, because it looks like knight d7, and now what? And we have the move bishop on c6. Fantastic, unbelievable move, bishop c6. Also, he finds it very quickly, only half a minute of thinking. So fantastic, bishop on c6. Now, instead of taking on d5, which would be normal, we have very quickly played the move bishop on b7. Like, why? Why he wants my rook to be on c7? This is making no sense. I mean, for a human, why you would like the rook to be on c7 instead of being here? So in case you're planning to take on d5, you just take. You played fantastic move, bishop on c6. Why do you want the black rook on c7? This is just no way. Knight f6. Okay, we have a normal game. Rook to e1 was the idea. d5. No, but this is just incredible play. The level of this kind of play is at least 2-6 GM. This is GM level. This is not a level of a guy who is even international master. This is a level of a very, very strong chess player, because you play rook e1, so you are anticipating the move knight on c3. You must see the move d5. Now, you must calculate that in case of knight on d1, you have the move d6 probably, and then there is this bishop a4 check coming. This is incredible level of play. This is really, this is not only GM, but this is like very strong GM. So after d5, so before playing the move rook to e1, as well, you have to calculate that after the move d5, and here I played the move queen on d6, you must see the move queen on d4, because this is the only move, otherwise there is queen a3. So after queen on d4, obviously, we are completely lost here with black, and here he started to play, seems like by himself, because just to take with the rook and the game is over. He went into this endgame, and okay, then slowly he played poorly, but this is unbelievable level of play. If you look the moves, the sequence, unbelievable. c4, great move. Take, great move, because it doesn't seem like what is the point for white here. f5, he gives a pawn. It looks like why he gives a pawn. Very difficult to understand. And again, we are playing a rapid game. This is not some kind of classical game where you have 2 hours. No. Bishop on b5. Great. King e7, in theory, possible, but who would play here king e7? It makes no sense to put the king on e7, so knight on d7. And here comes this amazing tactics with bishop on c6. bishop on b7, like what? Why bishop on b7? And we will understand only later that he needs a rook on c7. This is unbelievable, just because in this line the rook on c7 is badly placed, because in case of knight on d1 he has d6 with a tempo. I mean, okay, if he can play like this, I think he might play the next candidates. I think he has a great future as a chess player. This kind of level of play. Of course, we don't care. We just enjoy the chess game. I think we saw one of the most beautiful sequences of moves by White. I think I rarely play that kind of level like my current opponent. Incredible level of play. Fantastic. So we can enjoy. It doesn't matter. So we are here just to have some fun, just to enjoy some games. But wow. One of the strongest opponents we have faced so far. The sequence of moves is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. What to do? This is what happens here. So, congrats to the guy, and let's block him, because in case we're gonna face him again, I think we will just have no chances at all against the guy. So we have to block him, and obviously we will report him, but I don't know how to report the guy. I have to open something to report him, or... Okay, doesn't matter, who cares about the guy. We'll never play him again, and that's it. He can enjoy his games. Alright, finally, lucky to win the current game. Good finish, I would say, of the current stream. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had some fun, and of course I hope as well we had a couple of good games, couple of good ideas that we could learn from. Please like, subscribe. I've been streaming already today in the morning. Now it's evening time, my time. It's time to rest. It's already 10:30 p.m. my time. I'm streaming purely voluntarily, as you know, so very time consuming, and still I hope that I do something good for the chess community, and of course for VChess. We have big plans with VChess, so the future might look bright. Thank you very much for watching. Please join us tomorrow during our streams. We have a great application on the market. Download, enjoy. Have a great evening. Again, thanks for watching, and see you next time.